April 1943. The waters off the southern coast of Spain were calm, but the morning mist hung low, hiding secrets beneath the surface. A fisherman pulled in his nets, the chill of the early light biting at his fingers. Then he saw it, something floating far off in the haze. He rowed closer, heart sinking. It was a body. Face down, dressed in a Royal Navy uniform, a leather briefcase chained to its wrist. The fisherman had no idea that he had just stumbled upon one of the most audacious deceptions in the history of warfare. A plot so daring, so meticulously crafted, that it would reach Adolf Hitler's desk and alter the course of World War II. This was no ordinary mission. This was Operation Mincemeat, the story of how a dead man became the Allies' most valuable spy. By the spring of 1943, the tide of the war was finally turning. The Allies had secured North Africa after months of brutal fighting, pushing Axis forces out of key territories. Now their eyes were on Europe. But where should they strike next? The answer seemed obvious: Sicily. The island sat like a strategic stepping stone, bridging North Africa and mainland Italy. Capture it, and the Allies would have a gateway into the heart of Nazi-occupied Europe. It was logical. It was smart. And that was exactly the problem. Hitler knew it. His generals knew it. Any military strategist with a map could see it. Winston Churchill himself said it best: everyone but a bloody fool would know it's Sicily. The challenge was enormous. How do you invade when your enemy is expecting it? How do you make the most paranoid dictator in history look the wrong way? The solution would require imagination, audacity, and a willingness to attempt the impossible. Two men stepped forward: Ewen Montagu, a naval intelligence officer with the mind of a lawyer, and Charles Cholmondeley, an eccentric RAF officer with a love for puzzles and pranks. Montagu was meticulous, methodical, a man who could craft airtight plans from the smallest details. Cholmondeley was creative, unorthodox, always thinking outside the box. Together, they formed a partnership perfectly suited for deception. One day, Cholmondeley presented Montagu with a wild idea. What if they could use a dead body as a spy? Plant fake documents on him, let him wash ashore in Spain, and convince the Germans that the Allies were planning to attack somewhere entirely different? It was audacious, risky, borderline impossible. Montagu loved it. The plan was approved. They named it Operation Mincemeat, and if it worked, it would become the greatest con in military history. But success depended on detail. One flaw, one inconsistency, and the entire operation would collapse. They needed a corpse. They found Glyndwr Michael, a homeless man from Wales who had recently died from accidental poisoning. Invisible in life, he would become extraordinary in death. They gave him a new identity: Major William Martin of the Royal Marines, an officer, a gentleman, a man with a story. Then, they created his world. Every small item had to make sense. Every pocket, every note, in his wallet, receipts from London shops, a theater ticket stub, a stern letter from his bank. In his pocket, a photograph of a beautiful woman named Pam, his fiancée. Tucked alongside it, love letters, handwritten and intimate, tender words a man might carry close to his heart in the middle of a war. But the real prize was the briefcase. Inside, top-secret letters discussed upcoming Allied invasions, not of Sicily, but Greece and Sardinia. Sicily was a diversion, a feint designed to draw German attention away from the real targets. Every word, every detail, had to be flawless, believable, and compelling. April 30, 1943. A British submarine slipped quietly through the waters near Huelva, Spain. The crew, tense but silent, prepared the body for its journey. Major Martin, uniform crisp, briefcase chained, life vest inflated just enough to keep him afloat. With a solemn salute, they released him into the dark sea, letting the tide carry him toward the shore. Hours later, Spanish fishermen discovered him. Spain was officially neutral, but intelligence knew its sympathies leaned toward the Axis. Within hours, Spanish authorities recovered the body. They also recovered the briefcase. The body would be returned to the British for burial with full honors. But the documents inside? They took a more clandestine path straight to Berlin, into the hands of Nazi intelligence. Hitler read them, every word, and he believed it. Entire German divisions were redirected. Troops poured into Greece, reinforcements sent to Sardinia, Sicily, barely defended. Hitler even sent a message to his generals. The authenticity of the captured documents is above suspicion. One dead man had just rewritten German military strategy. On July 9, 1943, Operation Husky began. Allied forces landed on Sicily, expecting a fierce battle. But instead of entrenched defenders and bloody carnage, they found confusion, chaos, and light resistance. Within days, the Allies pushed inland. Within weeks, Sicily fell. The road to Italy, and the heart of Nazi Europe, was open. Historians estimate Operation Mincemeat saved thousands, maybe tens of thousands of lives. All because of a homeless man, 2 brilliant strategists, and 1 perfect lie. For decades, Major Martin remained a mystery. His grave in Huelva bore only the simple inscription, William Martin, Royal Navy served king and country. Locals laid flowers, honored the brave officer who died at sea. Only years later did the truth emerge. Glyndwr Michael, an ordinary man, forgotten in life, had become a hero in death. Operation Mincemeat wasn't just a clever trick. It proved that wars aren't won only with guns and bombs. They are won with imagination, daring, and audacity. Sometimes, the dead can teach the living the most powerful lessons about courage and creativity. And the greatest deception of World War II? It was only the beginning. Next, we will meet a man who made Operation Mincemeat look simple. A man who played both sides so perfectly that the Nazis awarded him a medal, and so did the British. His code name was Garbo, and he was the greatest spy you've never heard of. The next episode, we dive into the story of a man who lived a double life, deceived both the Nazis and the Allies, and became history's most extraordinary spy. His code name was Garbo, and his secrets are about to be revealed. Stay tuned.